Steve's been working on getting the subfloor down on top of the planking, and that's involved put a lot of screws on the loose planks to get rid of squeaks first, and then put the plywood on top of here. As you can see, he's got a grid pattern, so he puts a screw in on every grid corner, and that'll hold it down appropriately. So he's got these started on this part of the floor. This is towards the window where the kitchen sink will be. So he's got this whole corner done. There's a transition between the new and the old wood. So the planking that's closest in the bottom is the original house. The piece of plywood strip that goes over top of where the wall was, and then this Roxboro ink incorporated material is the brand new stuff on top of the porch. So he still has to backfill this corner. He's going to save this for last because I still have to get down into the crawl space and put some water pipes in and some insulation, and then he can run the boards in there. So he still has to do this little section here. And this spot here, this is where the wall was between the rooms. So he's got a strip of wood to try and bring the joist surface up even with the planks, and then he puts plywood on top of that. And there's the parting line between the hardwood floor and the new construction. So over here was the threshold between the rooms. So he had to cut that wood there to get a straight edge. So when we run the tiles up against that, we can have a nice even edge. And he pushed into the hallway slightly because he wanted to make a logical stopping point for the tiles to be the end of the hallway. The wood had extended out another 3-4 planks, and that would have been kind of awkward to stop in that direction. So there's a little patch he had to do over top of some joists or some studs or something. So this area is kind of like the point from the hallway to the kitchen, the transition. So he wanted to get some nice straight edges for that. What I'm going to do today is in these 2 stud bays is going to run 2 more heating circuits up through here because this is an outside wall. There's a high potential for a freeze and a busted pipe. So to accommodate any calamities, I'm going to put some PEX heating in there. That's this coiled up orange stuff, and it has what's called a vapor barrier in it. Because this PEX here is plastic, air can get into it and cause rust on the inside of the rest of the system. So anytime you mix a metal pipe system with a plastic system, you have to make a lot of accommodations so you don't introduce oxygen into the water, and it'll cause rust on the inside of the pipe where the water flows. So this has an oxygen barrier, so we prevent any migration of oxygen molecules into the system and cause problems. So this is what I'm going to do today. Take this PEX tubing and get 2 circuits, a feed and a return, and we'll just cap the ends, leave it in the joist bays, coil up some extra material up here and in here. So in the future, if we ever have to fix a busted pipe, we already have the tubing run inside of the wall. And that'll be pretty awesome, because if that breaks, the only way to get into the wall is to take apart the kitchen, move cabinets to get in there, or attack it from the outside of the house. This is the east wall looking towards the driveway. These stud bays contain the heating pipes, which are insulated with black foam. And you see the orange pipes to the left of both of them. That's the inflow and the outflow PEX heating pipe. So if we ever freeze the copper pipe and it bursts, we already have a backup system already plumbed in. So it runs up through the stud bay, comes out, does a little bit of a loop. So there's a lot of extra material that can connect up to the radiator. So the radiator fitting is directly above the floor where this insulated black pipe is. So there's more than enough extra material to make that connection. Same thing over here on the outflow side of the radiator. We got an extra loop of material. It's all fastened up there and capped so nothing gets dirty. And that runs down this stud bay down into the cellar. So if we ever burst a pipe, because this is an outside wall, we might get into some extreme weather. There could be an issue, but if there is, we have a secondary circuit already plumbed in meaning that we would not have to rip apart the kitchen or the wall to get to it. So this is the area in the cellar where the PEX pipe comes down through the opening that the existing heating pipe comes through, and that's for the inflow. Here's the outflow, and I left both pipes. We have extra material right here, so if you ever have to hook up, the connections would be right here. Here's one of them here, and the other one is right there. So if we ever have an issue where we blow a pipe out because it freezes, we have our secondary circuit already plumbed in and ready to go. This is just a little added insurance just in case we had cold weather and we blow a pipe out. Now down here in this area, what we have is the hot and the cold water supply, and we have already have a leg already built into the pipe that's been capped. So we got a hot and cold leg. This one's the cold one, this one's the hot one. So what I did was I ran my PEX pipe that's going to go to the washer and the dryer. I got a little extra material here, so no matter how I plumb this in, I have extra. So this goes through the joist bay and then out through the rim joist, and this goes into the crawl space. I'll show you where that comes out. So here's the area here where we have the crawl space. There's a piece of plywood that I just can pull up and we can get inside of there. So you can see that's where the hot and cold PEX pipe come out from the rim joist. So the blue one is the cold and the red one is the hot. So then it runs down, and you see we have these fasteners that keeps it secure. And this is the connection. This is PEX A. It's an expansion connector. So that's what the connection looks like. So I'm going to hop down into the joist bay and give you a tour of that. So here we are down in the joist bay. So you can see that the PEX pipes go through this blocking right here. And this yellow wire is for the washer and the orange wire is for the dryer. So let me take you down here. You can see here's the extra PEX pipe. I still have to run it up through those holes right there. So let me just crawl in here a little bit. So what I need to do is tee off of this or use an elbow. And we're going to run it up through this cavity that we already have established. Plenty of clearance to get the pipes up through there. And then once I have the pipes plumbed up through there, then I can do all the rest of the connections from the top side. So here's the other cutaway. That's for the slop sink. So I need to run a pipe down there for hot and cold, but I can do that in the wall or I can do it right down here. So let me give you the tour. So here's the crawl space. So Steve's fitting in the rest of the subfloor. He went to go take a break, so I figured I'd film what he's doing. So he's going to cut out a piece to go over top of where I was just crawling. He's going to just get that fitted so that's ready to go in there, but he's not going to fasten it down till I'm done underneath there. So he'll have the subfloor completely done by the end of the day. I know he wanted to move on the frame in this wall too, so I don't know if he'll get to that or not.